Hello, you're welcome. Thank you for joining me. My name is Chioma Odikolo. You're welcome to our conversation for today. So today we'll be discussing about what to do when you feel like quitting. What to do when you feel like quitting. Building grit in the middle of the storm. So you have the storm, you have a lot of things around you. What do you do when you feel like quitting? Now, in this day and time, a good number of parents feel invisible. A lot of parents feel, overwhelmed. A lot of parents feel they are tired of doing a whole lot of things. A lot of parents say, I am tired. In the midst of the storm, what are the things you as a parent, what are the things we can begin to do? You can learn how to pause as a parent. You can learn how to breathe as a parent. You can learn how to just take your time. Just take your time and just be quiet and reflect as a parent. So we're going to learn as parents. For that parent that feels weary, that mom, that dad that feels you're working a lot, you're exhausted, you feel like your dreams are not really coming true, you're working, you feel like you're tired. We are going to learn, what do we do? What can we begin to do when we have a lot of things around us? How can we get to this point that we don't quit? How can we get to this point that we stay focused and we don't quit? Now, the truth is that, in the book we've been reading in our academy called Grit, it's been talking about grit, teaching us as parents, as individuals, how we can build in grit. Now, talent is never enough as parents. It's the combination, but grit is what is enough. Grit is what we need, because grit is the combination of compassion, it's a combination of passion, perseverance over our long-term haul to success. So it's grit that is important. Talent is important, but the conversation here, what will help us not to quit in the middle of the storm, is grit. So that is the conversation, and that is what we can learn, or we're going to learn how we are going to build in our grit when we feel like quitting. Now, our potential is one thing, but what we do, it is quite another. So your potential is one thing, but what you do is quite another. Let's redefine what quitting is. Now, quitting is not just walking away. Quitting is not just walking away. Quitting often begins with silence. Quitting sometimes begins with withdrawal. And quitting sometimes begins with emotional shutdown. Quitting starts when you stop believing that effort matters. So quitting starts when you stop believing that your effort matters. The effort you are putting into this activity or into a particular project matters. But grit says you may feel like quitting, but you don't have to quit. That is the conversation. So grit is what we say, that you might feel like quitting. You might feel physically tired. Your body is tired. You feel like quitting, but you don't have to quit. That is what grit says. Now, why we want to quit? Why is there a lot of us, we get to this point and say, oh my God, I am tired, I want to quit? Number one is emotional exhaustion. You're giving from an empty cup. When you give from an empty cup as a parent, you emotionally be exhausted, and it might make you to want to quit. Another reason why parents want to quit is invisible progress. You're doing the work, but you just feel like, oh, you're not seeing any results yet. You're training your children, you're teaching, but you just feel like you're not seeing the fruit, you're not seeing any result. That might be a reason why some people want to quit. Another reason why some people want to quit is comparison pressure. Everyone else looks like you try, like they're winning. You feel everyone is winning, but you start to compare yourself. That could be a reason why some parents quit. Another reason why some people quit is unrealistic expectations. Perfectionism is draining your perseverance. One of the reasons why a good number of parents quit is because they have unrealistic expectations. Another reason why a good number of parents quit is maybe the stories of shame. You have failed before, so now you're scared of trying. You have failed doing this project, so now you are scared of trying again. That is one of the reasons why a good number of parents quit. Now, what can we begin to do when we feel like quitting? When you are in that storm, you feel like quitting, you feel like giving up. What can you begin to do? Number one, pause. Don't quit. Pause, don't quit. Grit is not just about working hard. It's about not quitting on the hard days. Oh, grit is not just about not working hard. It's not just about working hard. You work hard, but it's about you not quitting on the hard days, not quitting on the days that it is difficult. That is what grit is. So take a deep breath as a prayer. Step back. Take a deep breath. Step back. Rest is not the enemy of perseverance. You need to rest. So instead of quitting, you pause. Ask yourself, why am I tired? Why do I feel this way? What is the reason? What would I tell my child, or what will I tell my children in this moment? Maybe your child is having a meltdown. You tell yourself, what can I tell my child? How can I help my child in this moment? So when you feel like giving up, instead of giving up, pause, have a rethink, and think of what to do. Pause, don't quit. Number 2, when you feel like quitting, remember why you started. Why did you have a child? Why are you raising your child the way you are raising your child? What is your why? Why did you start up that project? Why did you start up that course? Why did you start up what you were doing? When you feel like quitting, remember why you started. Remember the dreams you had, the goals you had, the vision you had that made you to start that project, or that made you to start to do that thing, or to raise your children. Remember the why. Guilt is fueled by purpose, so go back to your why. At every point in time you feel like quitting, it could be in your place of work, your parenting, anything, your course, your career. Anytime we feel like quitting, always remember your why, because enthusiasm is common, but endurance is rare. Enthusiasm is common, but endurance is rare. Another thing we can do as parents, not to quit amidst the storm, is speak truth to yourself. So what do you speak to yourself? Tell yourself, I am not a quitter. Say, I am not a quitter. You are a warrior catching your breath. When you feel like quitting, tell yourself. We should tell ourselves, I am not a quitter. I am a warrior that is catching my breath. Repeat those words to yourself and begin to replace toxic thoughts with true declarations. I have a book on declarations and affirmations for parents. Watch out for this book. Get a copy of this book and start up your journey. So begin to declare to yourself. Tell yourself, I was born for this. I will not back down. Begin to declare positivity to yourself. Tell yourself, I was born for this. I will not back down. Tell yourself, I may feel weak, but I am not done yet. Tell yourself, God is working and in my favor. God is working in my waiting. God is working in my waiting. Tell yourself, I will rise again, stronger, wiser, and unshakable. Give yourself these powerful declarations when you feel like quitting in the midst of the storm. Another thing you can do as a parent when you feel like quitting in the midst of any storm is to redesign the plan, not the purpose. Grit doesn't mean doing the same thing over. It means staying committed to the vision. Grit means staying committed to the vision, even if the strategy changes. So you stay committed to the vision, even if your strategy changes. You stay committed to your goals, to your objectives, to your big vision, even if your strategy changes. It's okay to change direction. It's okay to change your routines to accommodate how, the best that will suit you. It's okay to change your approach. It is okay. If something is not working, adjust it. Quitting is not the solution. That's not quitting, but that's wisdom. If something is not working, can you adjust it instead of quitting? Then the other thing we can do to build in grit, when we feel not to quit, when we feel like there are so many storms around us, to reconnect to God and your grit source. Reconnect to God and your grit source. Reconnect to God by praying, having a conversation with God, talking to God, because even the Bible says, for those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. So reconnect with God, and it will help you to navigate your storms. So begin to understand that grit is action. Grit is something we can begin to do daily as a parent. So you can begin to affirm yourself daily, declare morning declaration, your journal, write on your journal what you can begin to do, what you will begin to do to build build in this grit habit, to build in this grit in you. You have the power. It is within you to build in grit, to build in stamina, to build in perseverance in yourself. So as a parent, that is what we are called to do. Now, even in your real life, in your day-to-day conversation, you can build in grit. Grit is continuing the conversation with your child, even when the child has had a tantrum. In your day-to-day activity, you can continue building grit. You continue the conversation even after a child has had a tantrum. Grit is waking up early to pray, to work, even after his restless night. So grit is in our real life, in our day-to-day activity. Grit is forgiving yourself when you fall and get up again. So every day you should practice grit. Look for opportunities to practice grit. Look for opportunities for you to bounce back. Look for opportunities for you to declare upon yourself. Begin to declare and tell yourself, I am not a quitter. When you do these things, it helps you not to quit amidst the storm. Tell yourself, I am a finisher. Tell yourself, when I feel weak, I will rest, not to retreat. Tell yourself that God is with me, I will rise again. Tell yourself, I am parenting with grit, loving with purpose, and living with endurance. Begin to say these declarations to yourself, and you will find out that over time, because there's something declaration does to us, over time you will internalize this, and when you find yourself in a similar situation, you will know the right words to use. And as I said, I'm writing a book on 52 weeks affirmation, declarations for parents. This book will hand you power, give you power back. It will remind you, you will reclaim your power. So watch out for this book and learn how you can begin to affirm yourself, to declare upon yourself, to take back power, upon yourself or over yourself. So as a parent, I am encouraging all of us to build in the stamina of grit, to be resilient, to persevere, to not quit even when the going seems difficult. And I've discussed the tools we can use. So what would you be doing differently? What is that one thing you will practice when you encounter a storm today? You're raising your child. What is that thing you're going to do today and not to quit, that will make you not to quit? As I said, go through this video, begin to work on your journey, and remember, growth is continuous. Growth never ends. Remember to subscribe to our channel, The Renewed Parent Academy. Get a copy of my book, Becoming a Renewed Parent. And I have the books on affirmation coming out, the book on emotions coming out. Watch out for this book. Get this book and start your journey, because the truth is that the journey of growth is a continuous one. We never get to a point and stop growing. We keep on growing and growing every day. Thank you and bye.